This is a Fox 13 News special report.
2 children vanish without a trace, yet nobody reports them missing for 2 months.
Tell me where my grandson is. And if he's not with us anymore, just tell me that.
A woman mysteriously dies in her sleep, and a newlywed couple went off the grid. Both part of a group some family members call a dangerous religious cult.
I don't know what happened to those kids. I know that there's people who do and they're not talking.
Tonight, Fox 13 News investigates the search for JJ and Tylee.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Kelly Chapman.
And I'm Bob Evans.
Right now, police strongly believe the lives of Joshua JJ Vallow and Tylee Ryan are in extreme danger. The 2 children have been missing now for more than 4 months, and investigators say their newlywed mother and stepfather refused to cooperate.
The investigation centered in Utah, Idaho, and Arizona, but it has grown into a nationwide effort now. Tonight, our special report focuses on the importance of finding those 2 children as police look for any clue they can find.
Fox 13's Adam Herbetz and Lauren Steinbrecher have been following the case for more than a month now and join us tonight to explain what we know so far.
Yeah, Bob, Kelly, this is a complex story with 3 suspicious deaths, 2 missing children, 1 motive, and a lot of questions.
But before we piece together the case, we want to introduce you to the kids police are looking for, JJ and Tylee. JJ and Tylee are brother and sister, though their family tree is a little bit more complicated to explain. Lori Vallow and her husband Charles adopted JJ.
Turn out the lights. The party's over.
Larry and Kay Woodcock are JJ's biological grandparents. Kay is Charles' sister. They say Lori was a great mom.
For years, I loved her, just like a sister.
The Woodcocks kept in close touch with their grandson, often FaceTiming from their home in Louisiana.
And I'd talk, and the first thing he always says, Papa.
What's your new favorite toy? Show Mama Papa.
Go. JJ has autism. His grandparents say the 7-year-old is extremely advanced for his age and always happy.
JJ had a remarkable memory. He was reading at 3. He was doing math at 3. And the books he read was not See the Rabbit Run. It was books.
Are you taking a video of my child?
Tylee is 17, Lori's biological daughter from a different marriage. The 2 siblings have an older adult brother. Tylee's close friend Vicea says Tylee is witty and clever, always one with the comeback.
Name 10 things you like about me right now.
Vicea described the Vallow family as generous and kind.
Her family was kind of like my second family.
Even when Lori, Charles, Tylee, and JJ moved from Arizona to Hawaii, Vicea says Lori paid to fly her out there for the summer so Tylee could hang out with her best friend.
I would even like to call her mom my mom.
Now, while it seemed like the Vallows were a close-knit, happy family, things changed between Charles and Lori.
Yeah, the family moved back to Arizona. The parents separated, and suddenly there were red flags about the entire family's safety. That part of our story takes us back to July 11th, 2019 in Chandler, Arizona.
Brother-in-law visiting from Houston.
Chandler Police Department, anybody inside, make yourself known.
This is the day everything changed for the Vallow family.
He's right here in the living room. 1, 2, 3, 4 shots, something like that.
Lori's husband, Charles, shot and killed by her brother, Alex Cox.
What happened today? How did it get to this?
I don't know, he was enraged.
Is he an ex-husband or just current husband?
They're working on that.
Gotcha.
Alex said the shooting was in self-defense, that Charles hit him in the head with a baseball bat and would not stop swinging.
Is he breathing?
I can't tell.
Are you willing to go over to him and check?
Sure.
And are you wanting to start CPR?
No, I don't know how to do that.
I can walk you through it.
Okay.
During at least part of the fight, Tylee was also inside the home. She says her brother, JJ, went outside into the car before it started.
Do you normally have a good relationship with the guy?
Yeah, I do.
But according to divorce papers filed months before his death, Charles did not have a good relationship with either of the siblings. because of their newfound religious beliefs. That Lori informed Charles she was a God assigned to carry out the work of the 144,000 at Christ's second coming in July 2020, and that if Charles got in her way of her mission, she would murder him.
For her to say she's a translated being, that is scary.
What was he accusing you of?
He was just yelling at me.
Alex Cox admitted to police he has been convicted of aggravated assault in the past for attacking one of Lori's previous husbands, Tylee's father. At this point, police did not have these documents, which also accused Lori of taking large sums of money out of Charles's bank account.
And let me just get your information. How old are you?
16.
16?
Both Lori and Tylee blamed Charles for starting the fight.
He came to pick up his son.
Okay, is the son inside?
No, my sister took him to school.
Weeks after Charles died, Lori, the 2 kids, and her brother picked up and moved to Rexburg, Idaho.
So they were nice. Everyone was really nice there.
Seth Bernard said he helped Lori move into the townhome next door a couple weeks before school started, while Lori's brother rented another unit in the same complex.
She was thankful for us helping her move in.
Seth says he and his wife only saw Tylee a few times, but they often saw JJ because JJ played with their kids.
He would take over his whole entire sidewalk playing with his toys.
Lori enrolled JJ in school at nearby Kennedy Elementary in early September. Then one day, Seth said JJ was gone. He was told JJ went to visit his grandmother.
We didn't know where that was. They said, oh, okay, school's about to start.
Kennedy Elementary's principal says Lori came in to unenroll JJ, saying she was going to homeschool him instead. Police say that's the last time they know of anyone seeing the kids. No one reported the kids missing until Kay and Larry called Idaho police saying Lori cut off contact. Rexburg police showed up to Lori's townhome in late November. She told them JJ went to stay with family, which police said turned out to be a lie. That same day, Seth says he saw Lori and her brother packing up a truck, thinking they were heading out of town for Thanksgiving.
Next morning, boom, they're gone.
They left behind their belongings, including JJ's toys, on the porch. The next morning, Rexburg police and the FBI raided both Lori and her brother's townhomes. Witnesses told police Lori claimed Tylee died a couple of years ago, and her new husband, Chad Daybell, told police Lori didn't have any young children. Family, including the Woodcocks and Lori's eldest son, Colby, have made public pleas to find the kids.
And I just want you to just find it in your heart to be able to help this situation.
Did you do something to your children?
Last weekend, Rexburg and Kauai police departments served a search warrant and court order to Lori in Hawaii with an ultimatum: show up in Idaho with the kids or be found in contempt of court. The deadline came and went with no JJ and Tylee.
Show me the kids. Show me the kids. Show me the kids.
Well, after the break, we're going to take a deeper look at Lori's new husband, Chad, a religious author whose wife died just 2 weeks before his marriage to Lori.
We'll also introduce you to the prophecies written within his books that might have changed the lives of Lori and her children forever. Less than a month after JJ Vallow and Tylee Ryan went missing in Rexburg, a woman named Tammy Daybell died in her sleep just a few miles away in Salem.
Now, at first, law enforcement did not make that connection between the two until they learned what Tammy's husband, Chad Daybell, did next.
Chad Daybell and his wife Tammy had a lot in common with other spiritual families. They stayed active in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Chad is just even-keeled, middle-of-the-road guy. Doesn't come across very dynamic at all.
Chad talked about receiving visions because of 2 near-death experiences earlier in his life.
You hear about religious fanatics, and sometimes, you know, if you gain their confidence, they'll pull you aside and say, let me tell you what's really going on. No, there was none of that.
The couple lived in Springville, had 5 children, and ran their own publishing company. A few years ago, the couple moved to this Salem, Idaho home. Tammy settled in as a school librarian at an elementary school, not too far from her home, but now hundreds of miles away from her parents and siblings in Utah. In October, she visited her parents. Her father, Ron Douglas, says Tammy was happy and healthy. 2 weeks later, on October 19th, Chad Daybell told his in-laws Tammy went to bed coughing and never woke up. She was pronounced dead at the age of 49.
So my officers responded to the home. They took pictures, they did their investigation.
Sheriff Len Humphreys said nothing seemed out of place until weeks later.
Originally, the coroner thought that she had died of natural causes, and then we were contacted by other agencies out of Arizona and raised some questions.
The sheriff's office learned Chad had already remarried to Lori Vallow, whose children were missing. On December 11th, crews exhumed Tammy's body from the Springville Cemetery for further testing. On January 3rd, the Fremont County Sheriff's Office served a search warrant on the Daybell home.
Hoping to find was something that would help identify if there was something that was used in her death.
The sheriff's office says the Daybell adult children, some of whom live in the home and in the neighborhood, won't talk to them. They didn't want to comment on the situation to Fox 13.
We aren't making any statements at this time.
Okay, all right.
There were still large pools of water from the flooding caused by the earthquake, and where the water had receded, the stench of mold and decay was almost overpowering.
That was the voice of Chad Daybell's middle child, Seth, reading one of the many prophecies contained within his father's books. This is now one of the only stores in Utah still selling his work.
We may see hidden messages in these writings. Two books that I'm going to read first, autobiography and his last publication.
This is how Chad Daybell describes his gift and the rest of his novels in his own words. Each story inspired by a direct message from God. And now each story undergoing a thorough FBI analysis. He talks about dozens, if not hundreds of visions. That's a lot of clues, right?
Those are absolutely clues.
Chad says his close calls with death allow him to have one foot in the spirit world and another in the real world. That led to dozens of books explaining how it's all coming to an end. Time to prepare for the second coming of Jesus Christ.
He was writing book 5 in one of his series and added me as a character in one of his books. I was like, well, that was cool. Nice, thumbs up.
Each book begins with a dedication to his wife, Tammy, my one and only.
He would never hurt Tammy.
Julie Rowe, another author who released books through Chad's publishing company, says she and Chad would sometimes talk about how they received the same visions.
And I did ask him, Chad, do you still see Tammy dying? And he said, yes, I do.
Something is going on. It's very dark. It's very sinister. And in my opinion, very cult-like.
Experts and family members believe this whole story begins with those religious beliefs that Chad and Lori are two members of a religious cult bonding over his books.
She'd say stuff like, you know, it's going to be the end of the world and we should just all drive off a cliff and kill us and our kids and die all at the same time.
Seems to me that Chad Daybell is the leader, and he's the defining element of this group. He seems to use his LDS background as a recruitment tool.
Their focus is just so much on the end of the world and, you know, this idea that it's coming.
This man, Brandon Boudreau, says his ex-wife, Lori's niece, is also part of the cult, that he could have ended up a victim, but instead was the spouse who got away.
All I could think was, someone's shooting at me. What do I need to do? I need to hit the gas and get out of here. I just wonder why you couldn't just get divorced like normal people and just go be together if that's what you wanted. I don't know why they're doing what they're doing. It doesn't make any sense.
Throughout this process, some people have asked, if the police know where the parents are, why have they not stepped in to arrest Chad or Lori?
Yeah, when we come back, a legal expert explains, plus what could happen next if Lori is found in contempt of court. Stay with us.
For the past half hour, we've laid out how the lives of two families have changed drastically.
Joshua JJ Vallow and Tylee Ryan are still missing, and their mother, Lori Vallow, did not bring them to authorities in Idaho before yesterday's court-ordered deadline.
Lori and Chad Daybell's attorney is not commenting on this matter. In fact, they haven't released a statement since December 23rd. That statement saying in part that the couple looks forward to addressing the allegations once they have moved beyond speculation and rumor.
Some attorneys we've spoken to believe there is already enough proof to make an arrest, but that yesterday's deadline was a Hail Mary for authorities to take action on Chad and Lori.
And I think that the reason they scheduled this child protection hearing and ordered her to produce the children is to force her hand and say, look, you can't just hide anymore. Maybe she sits in jail for a year or two. There's no limit. They can hold her, they can say, you need to produce this evidence and we'll hold you in jail until you do.
Fox 13's Adam Herbetz and Lauren Steinbrecher are back with us now for a final word.
Now, do family members have any idea at all what has happened to JJ and Tylee? I mean, are they even alive?
I mean, at this point, family that we know of that's come forward has absolutely no clue where these two are. You know, the grandmother yesterday, Kay, when I was in Rexburg, Idaho, had said that she, up until now, you know, her and her husband have assumed that they're going to be alive until they're proven otherwise. But now her optimism is starting to diminish now that that deadline has come and passed. But I mean, at this point, it is anybody's guess where they are, who they are with, and if they're okay.
Adam, what happens now with Lori? We know she's in contempt of court. Has she or Chad been arrested?
First of all, we don't know where they are. Last we saw, they were in Hawaii. We spoke to police in Kauai, the island that they were staying in Hawaii. They told us right now they are not arrested. They were not arrested last night or this morning. The big question is, will they be arrested? They say they're waiting for orders from the Rexburg Police Department. They're the lead on this case. We know that the mother was threatened to be found in contempt of court. She's the one who was named in that document, and that is the thing that they are going to be focusing on from here on out.
It sounds like we have not heard from, of course, JJ, who's very young, but Tylee has social media accounts. Have we heard or seen anything from her on those social media accounts?
So since September, technically, yes. So there was a Venmo payment in October from Tylee to her brother that nobody has really said what exactly was going on with that. And then I actually did speak with a friend of Tylee's from Arizona who got a text from Tylee in late October, but in speaking with that friend, she was telling me that she's really not sure if that was from Tylee. She said it's not something that Tylee would have written, and it was just a reply to a text. So she, at this point, is really not sure if that was actually Tylee.
Wow, Lauren and Adam, thank you so much for the insight and the background, taking us back to the beginning.
Yeah, you've done a Herculean job putting this story together and trying to make sense of it for all the rest of us. It is a very complicated, very confusing story, and so thank you for all your efforts.
And we do want to mention we will be on Facebook Live at 10:05 tonight to answer any questions that you may have about this very complicated case, because there are still so many questions,
absolutely,
and just not enough answers at this point. Yeah. On behalf of Adam Herbetz, Lauren Steinbrecher, and Bob Evans, we wish you all a good night.
Police still believe the lives of JJ and Tylee are in serious danger. There is now a $20,000 reward for anyone with information leading to their safe return.
And again, if you have anything to share that might help the case, you can call the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Their number, 1-800-THE-LOST. You could submit a tip to findjjandtylee.com.
Have a good night, everyone.
Good night.